Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are, Thursday here. We're at Laconi's Restaurant in Cuyahoga Falls.
Yeah.
It's a great day. A little cold today, right, Dave? A little chilly.
But it is December in Ohio, Brett.
It is.
These are the things we have to deal with.
I like that global warming stuff where this stuff came in January and February. You know, I feel like we're in the 80s now, you know, when winter was actually winter. Okay.
There you go.
Anyways, we'll start with our first topic here, and we'll get right up. Breaking news. Deshaun Watson returning to the practiced 21-day window, and the window's over Christmas Eve. And the big question is, you see him playing at all this season, Dave?
Well, let's take a look at it. Watson is taking very limited practice reps this week as he continues to ramp up. The Browns do have until Christmas week to activate him to the 53-man roster, where he could be active for the final two games of the season, which would be the Steelers and the Bengals. If he is not activated by week 17, Watson will revert to a season-ending injury reserve. By the time the Browns must make that decision, Watson will have fewer than 10 practices under his belt after being away from the field for more than a year. So think about that. That's a lot. That's a lot away from the field. In fact, that was part of my reservations with Watson to begin with. He was a year away from the field in 21. He lost nearly 11 games in 2022.
Yeah.
And you have the injury in 23. So we're back to
re-ruptures the Achilles tendon, right?
Exactly. Now we're back to limited practices and trying to throw him out on the field the last two weeks of the season. I'll just bottom line this. In my humble opinion, barring a Shedeur injury, I don't see him getting on the field. And at least from a management standpoint, I mean, Jimmy Haslam is labeled. I can't see the Browns playing a quarterback that the owner labeled a mistake, quote unquote. Yeah, those were Jimmy's words.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys take it from here.
Dave made me think about it earlier. We talked, and I think he's right. I think it's going to take a Shedeur fizzle. He's going to have to stink the next 2 or 3, 4 games, and that'll get him in. Or Shedeur goes down. Otherwise, business as usual. We let Shedeur play. We see it through. Steve, talk about your boy Shedeur and this Watson thing. What's your take on that?
Oh, yeah, just like we just said, the 21-day window for the team to evaluate him.
Yeah.
While he's on the field, he's not expected to play, so expect to see the Shedeur keep starting.
Yeah.
The practice designation is the next step in his rehabilitation process. It's a due process, and they have to follow it, guys. His practice window was open, like we said, December 3rd. With the 21 days to decide whether to activate him or not. Within that window, he will remain on injured reserve and miss the rest of the season. That's what we want. But due to the due process, it's a step at a time, guys. He's currently being a mentor to Shedeur on the sidelines. Apparently, he's helping Dylan Gabriel a little bit, but especially Shedeur, since Shedeur's playing and starting right now. Like you said, Dave, Jimmy said it was a swing and a miss.
Yes.
We thought he could be our franchise quarterback, and we were wrong. It's going down as one of the top 5 worst trades in NFL history.
I believe that. Yeah. One of the worst sports trades of all time.
Yes,
by the way.
sports altogether. Yeah. But don't worry, Browns fans. He'll go back on the injured reserve. I wouldn't sweat it too hard if you are.
Right.
The Browns are doing the proper steps and procedures, and for themselves and for Watson both.
What Dave and I were talking about that is true is that we do not know if he's that healthy to play.
Yes.
So the Browns have the power to say, you know what, you're off a little bit. You're going to the pup.
Yeah.
So
and plus they can see him in practice. They can see how ready he is to play. And I think that would be, the last 2 games of the season, that would be a tough spot too.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we don't expect them to be playing for anything other than draft positioning those last 2 games. I want to go back to what we talked about during the preseason here, guys.
Yeah.
I think it would be best for all parties involved, and this includes Deshaun Watson, and you guys give me your opinion, for him to get a fresh start somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want him back.
Unfortunately, though, Dave, guys, we have him one more year in 26. I think we have to have him the entire 26.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
To
I think
my
that's
knowledge.
$80 million or something towards the.
Isn't
And
that
you don't-
insane?
Yeah.
You can't cut him. The problem's going to be, guys, is next year, if he's healthy, if Jimmy doesn't get in his ear and say, hey, dude, sit this one out, we're going to have a little bit of a problem. Because then the union gets involved. How dare you tell my healthy player to sit down? The union doesn't like that. They want healthy players to play.
Listen,
But-
Jimmy, you created this whole
Yeah.
situation. You're the one that made the Godfather offer that said go out and move
Yeah.
heaven and earth to bring in this quarterback. We're
Yeah.
already trying to evaluate 2 quarterbacks. We may be going
Yeah.
into the draft next year looking at another quarterback, depending on how this Shador finishes out the season this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, Jimmy, ball's in your court, man. You and
And
you
knowing
gotta figure this out.
And knowing how Watson's been in the past with Houston, he
Yeah.
didn't mind. Yeah, I'll sit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
same agreement.
Can't you sit
I think-
some
I think
more?
it's good for Cleveland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He knows the fans don't want to see him play. He knows that,
Right.
that he's got to have a fresh start, Dave. You said
That's
it perfect.
great
He's got to
point.
get a fresh
Yet
start.
another
You
organization
don't
that
wanna
doesn't want him. Yet another organization that doesn't want him. And why would you want to play for an organization that doesn't want you?
So Retzer's cracking me up. He goes, Keaton, Shador's getting mentored by Deshaun. No. Remember that?
Yeah.
He doesn't want Shador getting all those bad habits. Watson's probably like, hey, here's how you slack off in practice. Here, take a lot of photos on a vacation spot. Remember how he always does
Yeah.
that?
Give him some positive tips. Maybe
Yeah.
clue him in on the best massage parlors.
Yeah. Oh. All
One thing
right.
in common too, they have some nice bling.
Hey,
I bet you they're comparing my
Yeah,
necklace
yeah.
better than yours.
Yeah. I like mine better
Bling
because
reference.
yeah.
There you go, Steve.
I have unlimited money because I have a guaranteed contract. So,
There you go.
anyway, Steve, any more final thoughts on the Watson situation? And before we get started here with the recap.
Yeah, Brent, that just wraps it up. I mean, thank goodness we have 2
Okay.
first-round picks in 26. That about wraps up Watson, though. Yeah, guys.
All right, guys, we're going to get into our next segment, and it is the Cleveland Browns and the 49ers. They played this past Sunday. And, Steve, how'd your boy Shador do? How'd that go for us? I mean,
Brent, it was a little shaky. I mean, it wasn't exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
49ers win this game 26-8. It was a windy day in Cleveland, and the Browns did, in fact, lose it. It was actually only 10-8 at halftime, though, guys. There was some hope in this game at the beginning, similar to other games this season. The Browns were in it the first half. Then we get shut out the whole entire second half. That's become kind of like the norm for the Browns this
Yes.
season.
The defense,
Right, Dave?
the defense only holds down the fort for so long, and then the blunders happen. This time, not all the blunders by the offense, Steve.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But I will get into this. Stefanski still has his hands on what the team's going to do offensively. That's my belief. I think he only gave Tommy Reese certain plays to use in this game, and none of them were involved throwing down the field. And the play calling was too conservative, opting for shorter passes and more run approach, which we thought. But despite the opportunities to take more deep shots, I wanted to see more deep shots. I know it was windy. I don't blame this on Tommy Reese, though. Stefanski still put his stamp of approval on this offense and wasn't going to let Shador or Reese work any magic together like they did in the Raiders game.
So you still think that Stefanski is hampering the game plans that Reese wants to go with?
Correct.
You think if Stefanski got
Yeah.
completely out of it and Tommy Reese,
Oh, for sure. I agree
Okay.
with Steve on
Well,
that.
Kind of like
100%.
you can use this set of plays here.
Right.
These are off. You
Limits.
can't.
And you could even make an argument
Okay.
that he constricted it even more this past week against the
Right.
Niners versus the Raiders. They let Shador do a little more ad lib.
Because all I saw this week was a lot of short passes and screens
Yeah.
and things of that nature.
Was Dylan Gabriel out there playing?
I was about to say, to be fair, there was
I'm
a lot
busting
of,
on my guy,
no,
yeah,
there was
yeah.
a lot of similarities to the game
Yeah.
plans of Dylan Gabriel in the past. I don't know if you noticed
Yes,
that.
I-
Steve.
and you
did
feel
notice that.
Stefanski's got his hand in there,
Yes.
shutting that long stuff down. Okay, go ahead.
And now, guys, I understand that the 49ers are a superior team compared to the Raiders, and the win may affect the throws from both quarterbacks.
Right.
But due to being so conservative, especially being that the 49ers, they didn't have Fred Warner
Well-
or Bosa,
But, I mean, just bottom
They were
line,
just-
Steve, they were letting Purdy throw the ball down the field. He had a shot down the field to Kittle towards the end of the half. He threw a deep out towards the sideline. I mean, he was throwing
that's
the
an
intermediate.
excuse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The wind
Yeah.
missed me on that a
No.
little bit. You know what
No,
I mean?
we're not
There's
doing
nothing to
that.
say.
I guess it was an excuse, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It is an excuse. And not only that, you don't have to throw that big of a downfield pass, but you better do more than what they did, right?
That's right. That's absolutely
Like,
right.
what do you call intermediate?
Throw some intermediate throws. Throw some crossing routes. Throw the 15, 20-yard out. Throw the dig route. Throw some of those. I mean, there's nothing to say you can't, you can't throw those. By the way, Brock Purdy was throwing some of those route concepts on Sunday.
Yeah. I did hear, no, hold on, to be fair, I did hear it was bad. But it's what we just said. He still could have done what you just said. The intermediate was there. You should have did it. Anyways, continue, Steve.
Well, the Browns did run the football, however. Quinshon Judkins carried the ball 23 times. He had 91 yards, so he was close to the 100-yard mark on the day. I was hoping he would break one off for a touchdown, but he wasn't able to do that. His longest run was a 17-yard run, so that's not bad. I was hoping he could have broke one off.
Yeah.
Dylan Sampson had a few nice runs, which was nice to see.
Yes, he did.
Shador did finish 16 of 25 for 149 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, but he was sacked 3 times. I mean, this does remind me of a Dylan Gabriel-esque, game plan. It really does.
Sure.
On how Stefanski would, mark it up to do so. The offensive line faced problems due to multiple injuries
Yeah.
and general performance issues in the second half, guys. Jack Conklin, wouldn't
Yeah.
you know, leaves the game with a concussion. Surprise, not really.
Back to Conklin and the injury problems, Steve. You know what? They got the early good years out of Jack Conklin. They gave him the contract, and now we have a tackle that continues to get hurt.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I don't think he can come back. They're going to have to fix that problem next year. Ethan Poches, he had a leg injury, but at least he did come back. He came back in the second half. Wyatt Teller suffered a calf injury, and he should likely miss next week. I guess they have a guy named Jenkins that he was going off and on plays with anyway, so I guess they want to see this Jenkins, especially being that Teller will be out for at least 1 week. One of the worst plays of the day was the lining up of Farrell Hannon under center on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
They snapped him the ball, which was fumbled and recovered by the 49ers, which changed the momentum of the game, guys.
Can I make a quick point on that?
Sure.
I don't have any disagreements, and I was going to get into this in my notes,
Yeah.
with them going for it, but your quarterback is 6'2".
Yeah.
I mean, your quarterback is 6'2". There's nothing to say you can't run a quarterback sneak.
Yes.
There's
that was dumb, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. A sneak would and he can just do this,
Right.
And that's enough.
By the way, I thought Judkins may have gotten a bad spot on the 3rd down too. He may have gotten the 3rd down. So
yeah, and Stefanski, he just keeps looking more inept as we go along.
yeah,
And it's time
Yes.
that and like you said, when Dave kept saying, hey, back in 2019, at a stacked roster, and but he can't develop guys. He just can't, can he?
No, I don't have the confidence. That's why I think me and Steve are talking about we would have more confidence with Shador being in the hands of Tommy Reese than Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's a fair statement.
And just like you guys just said, I thought the same thing. I was going to tell you, why not just run the quarterback sneak with Shador? Would have been no problem. It was 1 yard. Not like it was 1.5, 2. 1 yard.
It was basically
Push
a half
forward.
yard. I think it was
might
closer
have
to
been
a half yard.
Dave.
Yeah.
Well, how about a
That's right.
tush push?
Yeah.
Anything.
But
what they did.
The Browns were always trying to be tricky. We're out tricking everybody, and then we hurt ourselves,
Is Bubba Ventrone, is he going to come to the next Retzer family reunion? And, can he bring a potato salad and get in like Greenfield used to do?
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of interest in Bubba right now
I know.
on his stock.
Yes.
Let's talk about someone that did better besides that fumble we just spoke about.
Yes.
Harold Fannin did, however, catch an excellent touchdown pass. That was a nice connection with Shador and Fannin. He led the way, 3 catches, 43 yards. Jerry Jeudy, he had 3 catches, only 26 yards, but his main highlight was yelling at Shador on the sidelines. I don't know if you guys seen that. He's not playing well himself, so in my opinion, he shouldn't be yelling at your rookie quarterback, Shador.
Yeah.
He did say later, though, that can happen between players, and his only regret was doing it on the camera. both Shador and him are fine though. So
Yeah,
I did say that.
It may have been blown a little bit out of proportion.
I think it was. For media wanted to rise out of it, and that's about all they got. My boy Cedric Tillman had no catches as receiver too. He only had one target the whole game.
Making a big-time contribution,
I don't like that.
Steve.
I'm not blaming Shador.
Okay.
I mean, Tommy Reese, let's get it in the game plan, or Stefanski, let Tommy Reese put it in the game plan. I mean, it worked with Jameis Winston and Cedric Tillman. Why could it not? Is how I feel. Even Joe Flacco connected with Tillman. They might have been shorter throws earlier in the season, but there was connection. No reason to not target them.
Yeah, but these receivers have lacked an ability to get separation for most of the season.
Bingo.
Without having to review
Maybe
the all.
This is the game I noticed it a little more. Go ahead.
You really have to get deeper and review the all 22. But I guarantee you, and there was some review of the all 22 because it was showing that there were some throws that Shador missed in this game. I'm going to get into that a little bit in my notes.
Sure.
And now sometimes those still shots of receivers being open and quarterbacks missing them can be misleading because sometimes you're trying to throw a screen and the play was never designed to go to the wide receiver. So in some instances that can be a little deceiving. But there were some misses out there for sure.
No doubt.
Njoku and Bond, I felt they weren't really involved enough. I remember when Joe Flacco was still with us and when he looked unproductive and people thought he was done, we found that not to be the case. Stefanski's offenses, I hate to say it, in my opinion, they ruin players, and I don't want it happening to Shador, in these future games. If Shador was elsewhere, that team would let him throw the ball. I mean, they better let him do it against Tennessee. I gotta say that.
Right.
Talk about the special teams again for a moment.
Please no. Please no.
Bubba Ventrone and not about what Brent was saying about the family reunions. Okay. We'll leave that out.
Yes, please.
The special teams looked awful again. Gage Labardine looked awkward back at returning punts. I mean, he had the muff punt, which led to an easy touchdown for the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
He had a game he'd like to forget. The Browns gave up a 66-yard punt return that went to the Browns' 16-yard line, in which they turned into an easy touchdown score. A kickoff returner stepped out of bounds at the 5-yard line in the third quarter, which forced the Browns to start deep in their own territory.
Yep.
So it wasn't just Gage Labardine. At first I thought, oh, the muff punt, and then he almost fumbled the other one. No, there was other bad special teams plays, Dave.
Yeah.
And that was a problem.
I feel like I'm watching the Bad News Bears. Walter Matthau's going to come out and coach. Oh my God,
it's really bad. It's costing this team games. I'm going to get into it, but it's really pathetic.
You ever? Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead. No.
Okay. But Bubba Ventrone could easily be fired, but I know what Stefanski's thinking. I think I got this.
Go ahead.
If he fires Bubba, he's one step closer to losing his job as well. Jim Schwartz is the lone bright spot on defense, and he could take over as interim coach. So Stefanski will let guys like Ventrone mess up a little bit to save his own behind. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's my special teams there. Defensively, Myles Garrett got another sack, giving him 19 on the season. He's getting closer and closer to the
record.
On that record. Malik Collins played against his former team, but he got injured and he's out for the season.
That's
a blow, guys.
That's a really bad loss.
He was a Pro Bowl player this year. This was a breakout season. I think best in his career, and he hasn't had a bad career.
Yeah.
He's an above average defensive tackle, in my opinion, anyway.
His play was a big reason that the run defense was so strong in the middle of that line. It'll be interesting to see if Mike Hall Jr. can kind of step into that role.
Yeah, him and Shelby Harris.
Exactly. They'll probably rotate. Yep.
And I still think we can do it without him, but that does hurt you. It hurts you. It's a tough blow for the Browns.
Especially with the level he was playing at, Steve. Yeah,
exactly. Linebacker Carson Schwarzenegger led the Browns with a team-high 10 tackles, including one for a loss. Get this, guys. The 49ers were 7 of 7 on third downs against the Browns. They led easy scores and mistakes by the Browns. We did, however, we stopped running back Christian McCaffrey. Remember, we all agreed that he's probably one of the toughest in the game.
Exactly.
Dual threat.
Yeah, absolutely.
C-Mac. Yep.
We held him 57 yards on 20 carries, only averaging 2.8 yards a carry. And then if you look at overall numbers, if you didn't watch the game, Brock Purdy actually had similar numbers to Shador's if you looked at it side by side. He threw for 168 yards and a touchdown. Of course, that went to Juwan.
I would say that key parts.
Purdy looked better.
Right, I would say if you didn't watch the game. That's why people watch the games to make observations, Steve.
Yeah.
Right, Dave. I was like, that sounds like a good comparison. So
Yeah, well,
throw that in. I like Shador.
I know
Trying
you're
to
trying
justify
to
it.
justify
He
it for
is,
your
it
guy,
is.
Steve, but
Yeah, and he didn't do a stinker, Shador.
I have this
but,
thing called two eyes.
yeah.
So maybe you've heard of it.
Well, one thing I noticed
It's a
with my
thing.
eyes was tight end George Kittle had a big game for the 49ers. And as we all agreed, he probably have a good game.
Kittle monster. Yep.
Yeah.
Huge catch before the end of the half to set up that field goal that got them the
Absolutely.
lead at 10-8.
And he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm ready to see Shador again. I think he will play better. I expect the Browns to open up the playbook. The special teams must play better. I just want the Browns to play games closely and show improvement. I'm hoping Shador gives a good enough sample size to possibly lead the team as a possible starter going into 26. So, go Browns.
Time will tell.
All right. Well said, Steve. And we will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us this great analysis of the Browns and Niners. I know. What a great game for the Browns,
Wow.
right?
Well, I'll try to make this great, or at least as good as I possibly can.
Yeah, make do here, yeah.
Yeah, right. The 49ers would spoil the second start of the Shador era. The Browns lost to the 49ers 26-8 on Sunday at Huntington Bank Field, falling to 3-9 on the year. The Browns made costly special teams mistakes and failed to convert on crucial fourth downs, giving the 49ers field position that allowed them to build on their lead throughout the game. Quarterback Shador Sanders, 16 of 25 for 149 yards and a touchdown, while being sacked 3 times. I'm going to get to that in a minute, by the way. Sanders completed 8 of his first 11 passes, but struggled in the second half as Cleveland generated only 76 offensive yards after halftime. It was bad.
Wow.
This was a game where the Niners took advantage of the Browns' mistakes. Let's start. Sky Moore took a long punt return to the Cleveland 16. The Niners capped the 6-play drive when McCaffrey went in for 2 yards up the middle on 3rd and goal with 8:12 left in the first quarter to give them a 7-0 lead. The special teams continue to be awful, and we're gonna get into that shortly. The Niners scored on a Purdy run after they got the ball on the Browns' 32-yard line when Luke Gifford recovered a fumble by Fannin after a rookie tight end lined up under center on a 4th and 1 that would make it 17-8 49ers with 1:29 left in the third. I don't get using Fannin in this situation. Again, you have a 6'2" quarterback, run the quarterback sneak. It could have been used. By the way, any issues with them going for it, especially in that part of the field?
I agree with going for it.
Well, go ahead.
Did you think this was done in practice? Did they practice with Fannin under center? Did they do this a bunch?
Well,
they
right.
A bunch. It looked like it was the first time they ever ran it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I was going to say that I had not seen the Fannin play. I'd seen that wild dog play where they'd run with Judkins in the past and utilize them. Again, shortest thing between two distances is a straight line. Sneak your quarterback.
Yes.
It was less than a yard.
I'm with you on that.
Hiking your ball to a
Yes.
tight end, a guy that never gets the ball hiked.
It looked
all
like-
game. Your quarterback. You do it all game long.
He got too cute.
Yeah.
And don't forget, he likes that Wildcat, too. He is all about being cute, Stefanski, and it doesn't go with what's effective. Just doesn't.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And all right, well, let's get into the special teams blunders here. After the score, Malachi Corley was there to return the kickoff, but the ball was heading towards the sideline. He caught the ball with 1 foot out of bounds on the white line. I still don't understand why he's trying to field that kickoff. Doesn't know where he's at on the field, and they lose 30 yards of field position right there. It's pathetic.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen, Dave.
Yeah.
That was more like Browns 2010 and way years ago. That shouldn't happen now.
Well, I'd say 16 and 17 if you want to go there as well.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. 16,
Right.
17, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the Browns would start from their own 5-yard line. It would get even worse in the fourth quarter. A muff punt by Cleveland's Gage Larvidan at the Cleveland 18. This was right off his chest pad. It bounced off the ground into the hands of Chase Lucas. This would allow Purdy to find Jennings through a tight window for a 7-yard score. This would make it 23-8. 49ers at 11:05 in the fourth. By the way, have we had enough of the Bubba Ventrone not so special teams? By the way,
Oh.
I mean it's
The
pathetic.
Jets game, the
Right.
49ers game.
And you could, I know I said 3 games, Steve, because you could even, the Bengals game, missed field goals.
Yes, Bengals game, missed field goals.
So
shit.
literally, that's 3 games that your special teams could have cost you, and this guy still has a job. Make it make
Wild.
sense for me.
And then in the
guys.
Jets one, you give up a punt return and a kick return. So it wasn't just one, both. It was both.
Yeah,
They covered almost every. What are special teams? Kicking, returning.
Exactly.
I think they about covered everything about doing bad at it.
I mean, I could go for 2, but 2's bad enough. I mean, because the kicker just has to make the kicks, the first week, against the Bengals. But, I mean, if this is not a fireable offense, I don't know what is. The offense didn't help the cause either. I mean, they did get a solid effort, as Steve mentioned, from Quinshon Judkins, who ran for 91 yards on 23 carries, and Dylan Sampson, who had 23 yards on just 4 carries. As Steve mentioned, Sampson had some nice runs. Tight end Harold Fannin led the Browns with 38 receiving yards on 2 catches, including a nice 34-yard touchdown catch. I thought he lost the linebacker there, but he had pretty good separation. But, good throw by Shador and good recognition to see him open down the sideline. I thought that was a solid throw and a solid play for the Browns' lone touchdown of the game. On to Shador. He did have issues with sacks against the San Francisco 49ers team that entered Sunday's game having generated the lowest pressure rate of any team in the NFL and the fewest sacks of any team in the NFL. He took 3 sacks, by the way. Throughout Week 13, he lost 34 yards because of them. We saw the same issues that we talked about before the season, holding onto the ball too long and not throwing it away. Steve, I really think these sacks were on him. It wasn't just the offensive line. There were some instances there. He had like a 4th and 20-something. He's just got to let that pass go.
Yeah, I'll agree with you that. Yeah, that's for sure.
So, I mean, some of those issues still, tend to be concerning for me. Again, you guys went over the numbers. Quick evaluation. I don't know if you guys want to give him a letter grade. What do you think of Shador, Brent? You want to go there?
Yeah, I think it was what the Bull said, which is there just really is no grade. It's incomplete.
It's incomplete.
You had a limited game plan. He didn't look like himself. He looked more like himself in that first game. You can't. I mean, I keep hearing C minus, C plus. I mean, I guess you can grade. To me, he wasn't let loose, and it's hard for me to give him a grade.
Okay.
At first, I was thinking C, but I kind of like that incomplete grade because you didn't give him enough to sample set to do it in this 49ers game.
I think there were still some things under his control. I think the sacks and not throwing the ball away and that pocket presence that we talked about, maybe holding the ball too long, which were some of the things that we talked about in the preseason and that were put in his scouting report before he was even drafted, and were some of the doubts that I had about his skill set reared its ugly head on Sunday. Overall, I don't think there's enough of a sample size in this game, so I can hear where you guys are coming from on the incomplete grade. But, yeah, I mean, there's still parts of his game that need to improve on. Again, there were some receivers that were running open that were missed early in the game, the deep shot to Judy. He's got to hit that, Steve. So there's some of that as well we have to talk about. On the injury front, offensive tackle Jack Conklin suffered a concussion during the second quarter. Defensive tackle Malik Collins appears, he's going to be lost for the season. And again, he was playing some really good football. What do you think, a Pro Bowl level, Steve? Is that what you were saying?
I think he'd Pro a Bowl this year. I really do.
I think it was a big reason the run defense was improved. The play of him and Mason Graham in the middle. They've got some depth there with Shelby Harris and Mike Hall. I think that should help. Overall, what can you say about Myles Garrett? Extending the NFL lead, as far as sack total to 19 by taking down Purdy in the fourth quarter. By the way, he worked, a future Hall of Famer in Williams, to get that sack, by the way. And you don't work Williams, by the way. He's one of the best offensive tackles in football and probably going to be a future Hall of Famer. It's also the 6th straight game where Garrett has recorded a sack. The All-Pro pass rusher needs 4 sacks to surpass the 22.5 by Michael Strahan. We're going to get into the preview this week, but this Titans offensive line is very, very suspect. He's got a chance to maybe even do it this week, Steve.
That would be something. I don't know. I might think it'd be a couple more games.
Yeah,
it might take at least 2 games, but we'll see.
I actually think it'll be 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I do.
Okay.
I don't think
Sometimes
it's.
he takes a game off.
Yeah,
which he deserves it too at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, he would the 2001 total by Strahan, and then J.J. Watts in 2021. By the way, overall the defense performed as it normally does. It held down the 49ers offense for as long as it could. In this instance, it was the special teams that caused the roof to finally really cave in this one. The offense and its 8 points didn't help the cause either. They still need to do a better job of sustaining drives. They still need much, much more out of the passing game. Again, where have we heard this before? Just in conclusion, the special teams are awful. Again, how our good old buddy Bubba has a job is beyond me. I mean, for the special teams to cost this team, and if you want to be conservative and say two, costing a team 2 games is more than enough for a special teams coach to lose his jobs. Again, this kicks the first game against the Bengals, but the Jets game for sure and this game would be 2 that you can, chalk up to just awful special teams performances.
Would you agree with me at all?
Yes.
Just asking.
Go ahead.
Is he not getting rid of Ventrone to save Stefanski to save his job, or he really has faith in him and he wants to keep it moving?
I just think that Kevin doesn't want to make changes to his staff.
I was just going to say, that's all it is, too. He nailed it. Business as usual, get through the season. I'm even thinking, some part of me thinks they want to lose, sort of. Yeah, they want to see what Shador's got. But I got a feeling there's talk like lose some games. We need the draft picks.
Do you think Stefanski in the back of his own mind knows he's coaching on borrowed time here, maybe a little bit? I don't know.
We've talked about that.
I think he does.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's still at play. He's going to get the hall pass, and we're seeing him back another year. I really don't want him here next year.
So Jimmy's saying the right thing. He's done a good job. We're keeping with him.
Yeah.
You're going to say that regardless.
Yeah.
So if you end up with a 4-win football team, and you go ahead and you keep that coach, and again, you have a near the bottom ranked offense, and you keep that coach after 2 years of that production.
It's pretty bad.
I don't see that.
Regression, not progression.
Right.
And if you lose to the Titans, that's fireable. I've heard it.
Okay. That's the worst team in the NFL, or pretty much a tie with the Raiders.
Yeah,
What's worse? They're the Raiders.
The Raiders, Titans, they're all up there. The Saints are pretty bad.
Saints, yeah. And they got a good defense.
And the Giants are pretty bad. They're all fighting for that,
Yeah, you're right.
To the top of the draft. This is a game, by the way, just in closing, that still shows that Shador has a way to go. He missed some open throws. Again, one of the key ones I noticed was that, I believe in the second quarter, they took a penalty. They had like a 3rd and long. He had Fannin underneath for like a short throw. He could have gotten them the ball. They could have picked up like 7 or 8 yards, probably gotten themselves in the field goal range there.
Yeah.
And it cost them. They end up having to punt there. That's the type of throw he's got to take. And I thought he did a good job of that in the first game against the Raiders, but not so much in this one. I'm not going to comment on the Judy sideline situation again, or the post-game press conference with Shador. I think both of those situations were a little bit overblown. It's on the field that matters for me the most. We have 5 more games, and as I've stated, let's see what he can do. This is 2 in the books, and we'll see. Yeah, I know as fans we have 5 more games of this, but oh boy. Back to you, Brent.
Yeah. Woo. All right, we did survive the Browns versus Niners recap there. Good job by both you guys. It's just we got to finish up the season strong. We got to see what's up with these quarterbacks.
R&D, Brent.
We just everybody's having an R&D year, and anyways.
Why should the Browns be any different?
Yeah, we got to see what we got, and then hopefully Watson doesn't get in there because I don't want him in there. No. I just don't. So, all right, we're gonna move to the game of the week, and Mr. Steve Retzer, he continues to win, but you know what I don't see Steve Retzer doing at the bar?
Yes,
holding up the 7.
Not everybody can be as blessed, Brent. Let's be fair.
And then I saw there's been rumors that you and Tom Brady are wanting to connect up for a photo op to do the 7.
Well,
is that true?
I mean, that's what champions do, Brent. They get together for photo ops.
Retzer, he's at the 3 spot, but don't forget Retzer had a nice little. He won some games early in the year.
That's right.
He
I'm
did.
like LL Cool J, man. I'm like, don't call it a comeback.
I've been here
for years.
Retzer's more like the Patriots dynasty and the Spurs dynasty. There's a lot of peaks and valleys with it. Yours is more like a Jordan.
Yes. This is a run.
Yeah, this is a run.
This is a run. It's a
run.
Sustained run.
Anyways, all right, Mr. Steve, get us.
Run for us.
Let's get into your game of the week.
All right, boys. I had the Cardinals at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I picked the Buccaneers to win this game, and they did just that.
Yeah.
They won 20-17. The win put Tampa Bay in sole possession of first place in the NFC South Division 7-5. The Cardinals now have lost 4 straight games, and they've been eliminated from the playoffs, guys. Can you believe that? Oh no, not the
Yes.
Cardinals.
Well, it was just a matter of time, you know.
And look at the division they're in.
Right,
Rams,
right.
49ers, right?
Dave, did the basement want to turn off the game at the bar the other day because the Cardinals were on? Like they're gonna black it out because they suck too much.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had really no interest in that one. I will say this. You know, the Cardinals have had some key injuries this year that have kind of held them back. You know, it's interesting to see, you know, what they do, you know, moving forward with the Kyler Murray situation. You know,
Yes.
he's a quarterback that's had some injury problems throughout his career. I mean, like I said before, there's some talent on this offense. You know, I like McBride at tight end. I like Marvin Harrison. That's an unfortunate injury to Connor early in the year, which cost them, I think, a good portion of their running game. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of moves this team does in their off season.
Absolutely, guys. And Jacoby Brissett had yet even another 300-yard game. I mean, he is on fire for 300-yard games. And Michael Wilson, another receiver that has been on the come up, especially with Harrison out. I was pumped for Tampa to get Bucky Irving back in the lineup, and I was right. The running back came from injury. He was the spark plug for this offense. He finished with 24 touches for 124 yards, had a critical 13-yard rushing touchdown.
Yes.
He provided the consistent ground attack that helped Tampa Bay build the lead.
Baker getting back his weapons, which is key.
Remember that's what we talked about?
Yeah, exactly.
And Baker, if he gets Irving back, and guess who else is coming back soon?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, that'd be huge. Yeah, if you can get Irvin back at running back, and then you get Mike Evans with a Mecca back at wide receiver, whatever they get from Godwin would probably be a little bit of gravy. That's as close to this offense operating with all its weapons and kind of
and it's
I'm not worried about Godwin, but I do want my Bucky Irving and my Mike Evans.
Right, if they get back,
he's like putting the gravy on top.
Exactly. You know, he's probably your third option in the passing game after Igbuka and Mike Evans. Yeah.
Has Baker Mayfield ever had a full deck at Tampa since he's arrived? I don't think he has.
Well, I thought they were fairly. Well, they did have the Godwin injury last year that really hurt him.
He's been there 3 years now. This is the third year.
But it didn't really affect him last year. They lost Godwin. He still, he threw 41 touchdown passes.
But imagine if he had the full deck.
Yeah, that's well. That's the argument.
That's why I picked them to go.
I mean, that's probably Steve's argument is that they would have a full arsenal around Baker most of the season.
Yeah. Continue.
In this Buccaneers defense, they bent, but they didn't break. After jumping out to a 17-3 lead, the defense let the Cardinals back in the game, but they delivered it when it mattered most. The Cardinals had a chance to tie or take the lead in the final minute, but the Buccaneers defense, led by Antoine Winfield Jr., Akron, Ohio State guy, and a late pass-up breakup by Servoka Dennis, got two critical fourth down stops to seal the win, guys. For a moment, this looked like a potential blowout. The first half was a defensive struggle until the Bucs broke through. The most memorable play has to be the trick play touchdown pass from Baker Mayfield to, you guessed it, left tackle. You always talk about him, Dave. Tristan Wirfs.
Yes, the man the Browns should have drafted over that bum, Jedrick Wills. Exactly.
Yes. That 2-yard score gave Tampa Bay a 10-0 lead, and it was a huge moral boost for the Buccaneers. This is a win, but it was sloppy. The Buccaneers committed multiple penalties and that wiped out scoring plays, forcing them to settle for the worst touchdown and instead of earlier, easier scores. The offense stalled in the fourth quarter, forcing the defense to win the game after a Chase McLaughlin 57-yard field goal that gave them a cushion. By the way, he was a former Brown. He's making 57-yard. I don't remember him making 57-yard field goals for the Browns. He's doing it for Tampa.
We could have used that early in the season, Steve.
Sure.
Yeah.
They let Jacoby Brissett in the Cardinals' passing attack, specifically, like you said, Dave, Trey McBride, and then Bam Knight, march down the field in the second half, turning a comfortable lead into a one-score nail-biter. For the Bucs, a win is a win, especially in a tight division race.
Yeah.
They moved to 7-5.
Those Carolina Panthers, Steve, are on their heels.
I know. Carolina, they're sweating them a little bit. And now they have to carry this momentum into their next game. The Cardinals, meanwhile, showed heart with their late rally, but critical mistakes, like an early red zone interception, cost them early. They fall to 3-9. All in all, I predicted the winner, but nobody could have predicted the drama in this game. The Buccaneers get the W, but they've got some serious self-scouting to do. if they want to make a deep playoff run. Get healthy, bring Mike Evans back,
Right.
and go Tampa.
Yeah, make your run.
Yep.
All right, well said, Steve. All right, we'll get to Mr. Dave Greenshield, get to his game of the week, and I think you got number 7 now, right? You know, you're feeling good about yourself.
Fred, what does that smell like? Victory.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Like
I mean,
victory.
I feel like I'm watching
like.
Entourage now. You and Johnny Drama.
Yes.
Are
You know,
Right here,
victory.
Brett. Let me put it up.
Listen.
You know?
Do you know that he almost broke the bar stool because he still got up? You know, and he kind of did the 7,
Yeah,
and,
that's
and I think I
right.
said the bar stool kind of buckled.
Yes, yes.
He keeps standing on it.
It's 7 in a row, or as I call it,
I
a
know.
Brady Brent. There you
Yeah,
go. There you go.
Are you hanging out with Jameis Winston? Are you eating Dubs?
Did you?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I guess him and Carmen had dinner the other day. You said that steak was good. Carmen wanted to tell you that, Steve.
There you go. Nice to get a Carmen reference into the show. there,
Yeah,
Brett.
anyways, all right.
right.
Get to you, Dave.
Well, the Bills steamrolled the Steelers in the second half en route to a 26-7 win. The Bills set a stadium record by piling up 249 yards while whipping the reeling Steelers, who fell to 6-6. Buffalo gashed the Steelers. James Cook ran for 144 yards. Ray Davis added 62, and Allen chipped in with 38, including his 76th rushing touchdown of his career. By the way, most of any NFL quarterback, by the way, I may add. He has 13 more rushing touchdowns than Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, who actually has the 3rd most rushing touchdowns in league history. Thanks to that, you know, Philly push a little bit, brotherly shove, as they say.
Yeah.
Okay. Buffalo held the ball for nearly 42 minutes and probably could have taken control earlier if not for a pair of first-half turnovers. Playing without their starting offensive tackles and coming off a tough loss in Houston, where Allen was sacked 8 times, by the way. I thought really he was going to be under siege in this one, especially against a really good Pittsburgh pass rush. I cannot believe Allen was not sacked once in 23 pass attempts in this one. So Watt and those guys really couldn't get to him. It was a little surprising. They held up pretty well in pass pro. I think it also helps. Allen has that type of mobility, and obviously they had a smart game plan to keep the game on the ground.
Sure.
Trailing 7-3 at halftime, the Bills opened up the second half with 2 quick touchdowns set up by turnovers. The first was Christian Benford's fumble return for a score after Joey Bosa strip-sacked Aaron Rodgers on Pittsburgh's first play of the third quarter. A few snaps later, after the kickoff, Mason Rudolph, who replaced an injured Rodgers for that one series, was picked off by Benford at the 44, and Josh Allen directed a 56-yard drive that ended with a 1-yard TD pass to Keon Coleman on 4th and goal that made it 16-7. Rodgers was playing with a brace protecting his broken left wrist. He was largely ineffective and missed a chunk of one drive early in the second half after getting drilled by Bosa on that first play of the third quarter. Rodgers returned, but finished 10 of 21 for 117 yards as the Steelers lost for the 5th time in 7 games, and they were booed quite frequently. The Steelers gained just 10 first downs and had 166 total yards and were completely run over in the second half. Sunday marked the 7th time this year that the Steelers' offense failed to generate 300 total yards. This is a team that still has a struggling running game. They only averaged 3.2 yards per carry in this one. The Steelers have dropped 5 of 7 after that 4-1 start to the season. While they remain tied with Baltimore atop the AFC North, they've not looked competitive at times against quality opponents and during a funk that shows little signs of abating. This just does not look like a good offense. They can't run the football. They really only have one reliable target, Metcalf, in the passing game.
Yeah.
They've kind of kept it together with, smoke and mirrors. Brent, you have a thought?
Did you see Steve Retzer rooting on the Steelers at the bar at a terrible time?
Oh, jeez.
And he anti-Greenshield.
This is all to just spite me here, apparently.
Yeah, I
This is
mean,
all to
what?
spite me.
I am not like that.
I think.
Okay, wait a
By
minute.
the way, I'm telling the audience. Good, you first.
Brent likes to stir the pot.
Way to be petty there, Steve. We're going to call him Petty Retzer. Petty Retzer.
I mean,
See what he's doing. He's stirring the pot.
I thought these guys were getting their I saw the
Dave,
tone.
you gotta ask you this,
Good,
though.
good.
Yes,
Steve.
please.
Mike Tomlin and
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers, if they keep losing,
I'm going to get
are
into
we
that
gonna
in a
see
second.
A little,
yeah, exactly.
little rumble, or are they going to just shake it off?
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
they're not out of it yet. I actually think this is a division because Baltimore looked horrible on that Thursday night affair against the Bengals.
Oh, that's right.
Lamar looked terrible, lots of turnovers. This is a division that could be won with an 8-9 record. So,
Yeah.
it's not over yet. What's interesting, by the way, the Bills would really put this one away in the fourth quarter. A 15-play, 83-yard TD drive. This culminated with an 8-yard TD run by Josh Allen that would make it 23-7. A 37-yard Prater field goal with 1:07 left in the fourth quarter would finish off the scoring at 26-7. Pardon me. Josh Allen completed 15 of 23 passes for 123 yards with a touchdown and an interception. He had 38 yards and a touchdown on 8 carries for the Bills. Given the tenuous playoff position, having entered the day clinging to that 7th and final playoff spot in the AFC bracket, the Buffalo Bills really couldn't afford to lose Sunday's game against the Steelers. This was no doubt a big win. Just in conclusion, this is a Pittsburgh team that is reeling. For the first time, Steve, I'm hearing people really questioning Mike Tomlin and saying maybe it's time for the Steelers to move on from Mike Tomlin, by the way. I don't know if you've been hearing that.
Dave, I've heard that just as well.
Yes.
And it's more people in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They're starting to say they want to move on from him. And us Cleveland people or Pittsburgh fans that live in our area, Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, they still want Tomlin. That's what when I
So I'm going to bottom line this. Yes. This is just stupid to talk about.
Right.
They don't have an offensive. They don't have a good coordinator, and they don't have a quarterback.
Right.
And they've been having this problem since Big Ben.
Yep, the post-Big Ben era has not been good.
Yeah.
They look like
it's crazy to get rid of Tomlin.
Brett, I'm going to echo what you just said. They look like a team with an old quarterback that doesn't have a particularly good supporting cast around that old quarterback. The good news is that they're in the AFC North. Yeah. That's the good news.
And I knew Rodgers would improve this year. I did say that.
You said he was an upgrade over Russell Wilson.
But that doesn't mean he's your franchise quarterback.
Well, I mean, you have to give him a little bit better, stronger sporting cast, particularly a run game, maybe another wide receiver for sure.
But continue.
Okay, just in closing, they were the Bills. By the way, this was a much-needed statement win. They were able to dominate in the trenches. Impressive considering the injuries at offensive tackle. The Bills need this one for their playoff hopes. It's going to be interesting to see how they close. The schedule, they have the Eagles and the Pats, but they also have the Browns and the Jets as part of that schedule. I just want to thank Josh Allen and the Bills for 7 in a row.
Wow. I'll tell you what, it is remarkable. Because, Dave, if you remember, he got off to a slow start, Dave.
I did.
It was bad.
It was bad.
And then he had to start picking stuff like, the Niners, or not the Niners.
The Raiders
or
the Chiefs.
And we know the whole story.
I took an easy button. Come on. Come on.
He did. He admitted it. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. Okay, anyway.
All right.
Let's move on.
How about the other 6, Brett? You're not
positive. I know. We got to do it. We got to do it. I like to stir the pot, so it's okay.
Yes,
All right.
You're a pot stirrer there.
All right. Well, things did not go well for me, but you know what I always say when I lose. Okay. I'm just a moderator.
Game of the week.
Hey,
he's just the moderator.
Just the moderator. I'm just here I'm the glue. I'm Draymond. Okay.
All
right. So we got the Colts and the Texans, and my prediction was the Colts would win this 27-21. It didn't go so well here for me, and we'll get into it. Why the Texans won this game? The Houston Texans grabbed a huge road win against the Colts, taking a 20-16 victory into a tight AFC South battle. The Texans' defense was a real star, shutting down the Colts' typically high-scoring offense and making a clutch stop late in the game to seal the deal. Even though the Texans' offense, led by C.J. Stroud, had some struggles and a few questionable calls went both ways, they did enough to get the job done, keeping their playoff hopes alive.
By the way, Brett, this division is now way up in the air, by the way. You got Stroud back in Houston. There's some doubts about Danny Dimes there with the Colts. We got some Dimes doubts.
I jumped on the Danny Dimes, and it's starting to go my way.
You were not a Danny Dimes guy.
I know, but he impressed me.
My team all along?
Yes.
The Houston Texans.
I know.
I was with them when they were losing. I'm with them while they're
winning.
Do you
know that he said to me, he goes, Brent, I want you to lose, and I don't care. That's what he said. Can you believe that?
By the way.
Doesn't have my best interest.
The Texans.
By the way.
Look how far I had the Texans go.
Great pick. You picked him to the championship game this year in the AFC. By the way, your other AFC championship team, not looking so good, or your Super Bowl champ, not so good, Steve. But I'm not going to go there. I like the Ravens, so I'm not going to say that. But by the way, they got Stroud back. They have this incredible defense led by this great pass rush. They got 2 great pass rushers in Hunter and your defensive player of the year, Steve, Will Anderson Jr. So, yeah, I tell you what, they might have just enough offense with this defense.
Yeah.
This division's going to be interesting, and then you got Jacksonville in the mix.
Yeah, and we know the frauds over there.
Yeah,
and
there you go, your
Fraud
guy.
Island, and he's
Yeah.
doing good this year, but they got a little bit of a cupcake schedule.
Right.
Anyways, all right. For the Colts, it was a frustrating loss at home, highlighting some recent offensive struggle and missed chances at the very end. Kind of gave them the L there. They just didn't do enough there at the end. Close game, but I think Steve even said, he had the Texans winning that, and it didn't go my way, but they get them next time, right?
Yeah, Dimes has had a bit of an injury this year too.
He had the fibula. Yeah.
He's had the fibula injury. Maybe that's caused some of his lack of production. But yeah, they need the passing game to complement this running game if this team's going to be really effective down the stretch of the season. Yeah. And by the way, you got Jacksonville on the come. You got Houston right now getting Stroud back. Going to be really interesting to see how this division closes out.
All right. We will get to our final segment.
Yes.
It's the bold prediction. We will lead it off with Dave Greenshield.
Yes.
Dave, how did the bold prediction go for you this week?
Well,
a little short on that one?
Not so good, Brad. This was not good. I had Justin Jefferson over 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdown receptions. Let me just say, this was bold. And this was bad. This turned out real bad. Jefferson would finish with only 2 receptions for 6 yards. Not good. It was going to be tough. He faced the 11th ranked pass defense, which is always going to be difficult. This Seattle defense has made a lot of offenses look bad. It was even more difficult with a rookie starter, Max Brosmer, who went 19 of 30 for 126 yards. 4 interceptions. Tough day for Brosmer. Again, the Seattle defense has made a lot of offenses look bad. I actually think there's a case to be made right now that the 2 best teams in the NFC might be the Rams and the Seahawks. I still have my Packers in the mix. I'm not a buyer in Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Yeah.
So, those are the 2 teams I would be watching. I expect receiver the quality of Justin Jefferson, to bounce back. I'm just hoping my bold predictions bounce back as well, Brent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We will get to Mr. Steve Retzer to kind of wrap us up. Steve, you got a W on your bold prediction, right?
I in fact did this week, guys.
Oh, wow. Good job, Steve.
Thank you very much. I had the Raiders at the Chargers. I predicted that defensive end Max Crosby of the Raiders would have 2 sacks against the Chargers, especially since Herbert and the Chargers are down 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah, they've had those offensive line injuries.
But the Raiders would still lose the game. The final was 31-14 Chargers. Crosby did, in fact, get 2 sacks in the game, and the Raiders were still really bad and lost, but my bold prediction was right on the money.
Good go.
Crosby did, however, receive an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after shoving Justin Herbert following a play, which helped the Chargers extend the lead. So he did have an unsportsmanlike conduct call, but I don't really care because I got the win on the BP, and that came to reality. So,
and those are hard to come by on this show. The BPs are hard to get.
Tell me about it. I'm winning games of the week left and right, but I can't get a bold prediction to save my life here, Brent.
You might have to start phoning a friend and all that stuff, like that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and
friend. I like that, Brent.
You might have to start getting creative with that. All right, what do you got, Steve? Finish this up.
No, the Raiders. Man, it's a tough year for those guys.
Yeah.
But thank you, Max Crosby.
There you go.
Yeah. Steve got it done. All right, guys, let's get into our final thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up. Dave, give us some final thoughts.
Well, interesting enough, another tough loss, obviously. But, we're here to see the continued growth of Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to be interested to see. Obviously, the Browns got the Titans this week. They've got some issues on the defensive side of the ball. They also have some issues at offensive line. This is a game where Myles Garrett can really feast. I'm going to get into that in the game preview.
Sure.
But again, I'm just interested. Obviously, it's all about the offensive side of the ball and the continued growth of Shedeur Sanders. I'm interested to see what he'll be able to do in his 3rd start. How about you, Steve?
All right, Steve.
Yeah, boys, I'm excited for this Browns-Titans matchup. More than just win and loss.
Yes.
I feel like it's a little competition. We got Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, Shedeur versus Cam Ward. I'm excited to see that. That's going to be a matchup. I think Tommy Reese is going to let it fly. Let it fly. This is going to be fun watching this one. Even though they're 2 bad teams, you got the 2 better quarterbacks in the draft.
Yep. Should be fun. Should be a good one. Guys, have a good one. Take care.